So this weekend, a new sci-fi movie called Ash makes its way into theaters. Should you go see it? Let's talk about it. So last night I had the chance to go see Ash. I actually went to like an early screening live stream thing of it. I don't even know exactly what it was, but I know they did like a Q&A after it. I'm gonna quick, just talk about some of the spoiler stuff as I always do, and just try to kind of give you an understanding for like what I did like, what I didn't like. It's kind of a mixed bag here, so let's dive into it. So starting with the non-spoiler stuff. The biggest thing here is that it just feels a little bit overproduced. And what I mean by that is that it felt like a film student was trying to show off their capabilities as a student, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but at times it feels less of a movie and more of just a like, how can we try to impress you? But I think they forgot the plot and the actual thing that like, to keep the movie engaging along the way. The main twist in the movie is not very hard to guess. I probably could have told you what happens from watching the trailer alone. It takes a while to get there, and it just didn't build right for me personally. Probably one of my biggest criticisms of the movie, and I know this is kind of like I don't know if this is an unfair criticism, but it's just that other movies have done it better. This movie doesn't really have an original concept that I think to myself and go, yeah, this is very, different from other movies. No, it's very it's very the same. It doesn't really have any new ideas to bring to the world of sci-fi movies. The last thing I'll say as far as non-spoilers go is that the characters that you are supposed to care about are not nearly as developed as they should be. They kind of make it this whole big thing to care about certain characters in this movie, but they never really take the time to like develop them properly or really just give them any compelling reason for you to like be like, oh no, they died, like I don't want that. You're just kind of like, oh. And for a movie that spends as long as it does getting to that point, I feel like it should have hit harder. So the movie centers around this team, which they do kind of give hints to like what's going on here. And from what I could gather, it's a team from Earth that they are running low on oxygen on their Earth, or something's going on where they can't, it's not as much of like a breathable Earth anymore. And they're trying to find somewhere kind of new habitable. Similar to Interstellar, but comparing this movie to Interstellar is like horrible. They end up, this girl, she like wakes up after not knowing what happened to her, and she's trying to like, keeps seeing all these visions and all these weird things until Aaron Paul comes down and tells, like, they're trying to figure out what exactly happened on this ship because she can't remember a thing. Come to find out by the end of the movie, it's this alien parasite that has like gone into everyone and made everyone kill each other. And she's the last remaining one, but it's still in her. And that's just kind of where, at the very end, she ends up getting it out using this like robotic surgery device. That's really the plot of the movie. Probably the best compliment I can give this movie is that it has pretty cool sound design and like some cool shots of like the planet they're on. Like it's very trippy, like very colorful, all these big flashes and like these big weird liquid motions, and it's very psychedelic is what I'll say. That's the right word. There are way too many close-ups in this movie. The whole movie is practically filmed in close-up shots, aside from a few, here and there. But it kind of gets to be annoying after a while because like, they're just trying to eat up that runtime, but and I like those shots of like focusing on the acting, but it's also like they forget about the plot at moments, like, you know what I mean? Like they get so caught up in like the way the film is shot that they forgot about the actual plot of the movie. Another thing that I kind of mentioned in my non-spoiler part is that it just takes way too long to get to the twist, to get to the point, because it doesn't really have as much of a payoff as you would hope. And because of that, it's just like, well, it leaves you disappointed because the whole movie is kind of riding on that, like, twists, if you want to call it that, I get where it doesn't really have that. So the last thing I'll say is that it really just made me wish I was watching Alien instead. Alien is such much of a better movie in pretty much every way. I was going into this movie, you know, hoping that I would enjoy it as, you know, like a sci-fi buff. I love sci-fi movies, but I didn't. I wanted to, but I didn't. So yeah, guys, that is my review for Ash. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Have you even seen the movie or heard of this movie? Because I know it's gonna fly under a lot of people's radar. I will say, if you're a fan of Aaron Paul, you will probably, you know, at least enjoy yourself a little bit. I know that was kind of one of the main sticking points for me, is that when I saw him in the trailers for this movie, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I will actually go and check this out. But it's average. I think I gave it about 3 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. It's average, or maybe a little bit above average, just because of the cool visuals and stuff. But it really does feel like it sacrificed the cool visuals and score for like very lack of plot / like story. So that is my thoughts on Ash, and I will see you guys later today, because I'm going to see Snow White, so I'll be coming out with a review for that soon. Until next time, Kernels, peace.